The Outer Side is proudly supported by Tie Gear. Head to www.tiegear.com to explore the wide range of high-quality camping essentials, including guy ropes, screw-in tent pegs, tie-downs, and heaps more. Tie Gear. Adventure secured. Dog and Gun Coffee. Check out www.dogandguncoffee.com to grab yourself some bloody good coffee ready for adventure. G'day and welcome to The Outer Side. I'm Tony, and in this episode I have heaps of people here, so I'm not going to introduce them all, but these are the boys from True North Adventures. As you'd know if you've watched the show before, I usually have one guest and it's quite manageable and I know what I'm doing. I now have three and I have no idea what is going to happen, so strap yourselves in. Boys, welcome to the show.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having us.
So, first and foremost, let's go around and introduce ourselves.
My name's Stevie.
I'm Mark.
I'm Baxter.
There we go. And you boys are True North Adventures. So we've been working with you for a little while through my work at GME, which has been great. But what do you guys do?
We do sort of like mates trips. It's sort of like 4 drives, fishing, camping, but not so much about any one of those 3 things. More just about the adventure of getting there, the banter along the way, and usually shit just going wrong.
Yeah. The emphasis on the channel is that it's about mateship, and people are sort of, are we a fishing channel or not? Doesn't really matter what we do. We aim to make people laugh once or twice an episode. That's our goal. We can't, if we get an episode and we haven't laughed at it, well then we go, well that's not a very good episode.
A fishing channel would imply that you're really good at catching fish though.
Yeah, which we're not.
Yeah.
So that probably excludes you from being a fishing channel?
Yeah, you call that a catching channel. Catching heaps of fish, right? Yeah. So yeah.
So is that your full-time gig? Is that what you guys do, or have you got day jobs?
No, not at all. I'm a full-time builder.
I'm a radiographer, sonographer.
Really? Well, that's heaps more interesting than being a builder. No offense, boys, but
That's all right.
He's an interesting guy.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a cool job.
So, have you guys known each other for a long time? Like, were you doing this stuff before you started filming it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what was the point where you went, oh, we should start filming this and making a YouTube show?
Well,
Man,
Stevie's had
I'm
the
always
idea, Steve.
scheming to try and make money somehow, right?
Fair.
Yeah, like my whole life, even just started my building business and whatever. I like building businesses, and if you can build a business that you do what you love every day, for me, I'm like, that's a bit of a no-brainer. So sort of chatted with the boys about it. We got a bit of an opportunity to get someone to fit. Look, we're no good at filming. We tried to film a couple over the years. Like we're doing them now, we're getting better, but back at the beginning, we tried to film stuff. We never filmed enough content. There was never a story to it. You know, there'd be like shots of fish and drone shots and this, but it just never made sense.
Yeah. And then it's hard to edit, right? Because you're like, what are we? Is it just a montage?
It's a 3-minute montage of a trip, and
it's hard to watch, eh?
Yeah.
You don't watch it.
And probably the key to our success, where a lot of channels sort of thousands have tried, whereas 3 average blokes doing average things. Actually, we've got a bit of a leg up, and we've got a start in the industry, I suppose you call it, is because we got it professionally done. There was definitely a financial outlay. There was an opportunity there, which the editor and the videographer at the time did us pretty good rates, worked out good. And I think Stevie said to him, like on day one, when we turned up 5 a.m. in the morning, picked him up. I'd never met him.
He was a stranger, eh?
Baxter had never met him, and we had no idea what to expect. We went away, we got on the beers. He's just a legend. And on top of that, Steve sort of said, we're going to film something like a documentary, an informative piece, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think documentary, but like I thought that there wasn't enough information about Cape York.
Yeah, okay.
Like really good information, not just montages of the teletrack. Yeah. Or like not knocking Fall Drive 24/7, but people just taking all the harder stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, well, we don't really do that. When we go,
Cape's massive, right?
It's massive,
there's
right?
so much more to it than just those tracks. Right?
Yeah, and we do a little bit differently. Like we're in touring cars that we drive to work every day, and we have to drive when we get home. So it was kind of different, and I thought what was out there wasn't representative of what every normal people do.
The average person who's going to Cape York is going to do.
Yeah.
And
But then it was nothing like that.
Yeah, and then long story short,
Ain't that always the way?
Like it sounds good, right?
Yeah,
But it
best
just
laid-
wasn't like
best
that.
laid plans.
after night one with the Phil on the trip, the videographer, he said to us the next day, he goes, guys, this is hilarious. It's not informative though, right? He said this is just a boys' trip.
Yeah.
We're doing cool stuff. We're having good times, and we're going to make some cool videos. Like he's already building it, and that's where money up front, financial, sort of downside of it has been the financial outlay. But the first videos we got were good. There was storylines. And it started building the brand from that first trip. And we look back on some of those videos, and it's funny to watch because I'd never had a camera in my face before. Baxter, Stevie, we didn't know what to do. And
And it doesn't come naturally.
No, it doesn't.
Which I think a lot of people don't understand.
No.
It's like to be a good presenter on camera and like to be natural is not natural.
Yeah.
The more you talk to people about it too, everyone's like, well, I can't do it. I just lock up when the camera comes out. Like you hear it
100%.
from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, it's even the same with doing this stuff, and this is like a pretty laid back sort of conversational style.
Yeah.
But some people, you turn the camera on, and they're like,
Yeah.
and it takes a bit for them to warm up.
And we've learned, and having that professional there, who as we're going along there was plenty of commentary, about how we should finish what we're saying, because we never did a second take.
Oh yeah.
Because he just had to have the camera rolling, because if it wasn't captured, the thing that happened, we weren't doing a second take. We're not actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You can't
we don't-
second take burning someone's chair in the campfire accidentally.
yeah.
Yeah.
wasn't it Helinox chair, was it?
No.
Because they've got like an inbuilt magnet in them that they're magnetic to
drawn
fire.
to
As soon
fire.
as you get off a Helinox chair, they just go straight into the
in there.
nearest
Yeah,
fire.
Because
right.
they're worth so much money.
Yeah, it's
Murphy's. Yeah.
It's part of Helinox's, business plan where they repetitive
business
sales.
continuity, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's a linear graph actually with the product. As it becomes more expensive, it's more flammable. I found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard
They
to
add
get planned obsolescence.
kerosene. Yeah, they infuse it with
Well,
kerosene and just.
my wife could confirm just how flammable they are. And
Yeah.
Fraser Island, don't get off that.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm at the back of the car making dinner, and then she's next to me, and I just hear this woof, and I'm like, oh, there goes the chair, and it was like seconds, and it was gone.
Yeah.
Did you
wow.
just lose one?
Yeah, just one.
Yeah,
and so
right.
for the rest of the trip, I sat on the ground.
Nice.
Fair enough.
So are you still using the videographer, or are you shooting it yourselves now?
Still using videographers. We've diversified. We've used a couple of other guys. We're shooting more content. We can't just stick with the one guy.
Yeah.
We're doing a bit of. We just finished shooting a trip in Vic High Country where we ended up self-filming.
Yeah.
Throughout all the episodes, like we've released something like about 110 videos now.
Wow.
Which is amazing,
How
really.
the hell?
Yeah, it's snuck up,
Yeah.
eh?
Is it 4 or 5 years?
Maybe 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Pretty hectic, eh?
Yeah, so 110 videos ish, and throughout them, like we sort of do a bit of a review. Like we both run businesses,
Yeah.
and we've self-filmed a few, had them self-edited, self-filmed, professionally edited, checked all the numbers, stats, and we've tried to work out what goes on, and we have got better. We've just self-filmed Vic High Country, 5 episodes. They will be professionally edited.
Yeah.
And like they're just going to be great. Like our self-filming has got so much better.
So is that what's the best results for you? Is it self-filmed and
No.
professionally edited?
Fully filmed, fully edited.
Yep.
And the only the only reason, like we can fly drones, that's another story.
Ish.
But the biggest thing is if you got someone else filming, we can have all 3 of us in without doing like these ones. Hey guys, hey legends.
Or
And you
someone
catch that
missing out.
interaction between everyone,
Yeah.
not just like someone over there and 2 people talking.
Yep.
And the 3-person dynamic works heaps better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
someone's in a bad mood one day. You're just like,
Oh,
Oh,
It's
man,
usually
that's
one of
pretty-
us, one of the
yeah.
days.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The law of averages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I can fully appreciate that, and I think for me, like I've done bits and pieces with various YouTube channels, and like from people that are just GoPro to self-filming to having one of the crew filming to then like full drive 24/7, which is a
full film crew.
2 cameras, like 10 in cars and whatever.
Yeah.
And like there's a reason that they're the biggest and the most successful, right? Because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a full production crew and,
And
it's
it-
a
and
planned
it-
storyline, and
Yeah.
it's like there's a lot that goes into it
And
that
they're,
isn't immediately apparent.
they're the most cinematic too, right? Yeah. And that's probably where we don't want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get a lot of commentary that it's more relatable, which is what we're doing, and the cars we're driving and the places we're going, but also that it's a bit rawer. Yeah, just a little bit like it's got the edge taken off it with some professional editing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what we're doing and how we interact and like it's just rawer.
What we say, like we haven't scripted a word ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had people ask who does our scripts, which is a bit awkward.
Yeah, and you're like,
yeah.
you think this is scripted?
Yeah.
you think we planned to say this?
Yeah, you think we put our beers, like 5 cartons of beer in the bush and then lit them on fire for content? No one in their sane mind
You
would do
don't
that.
know us. Well, so what we normally do at the start of these episodes is a fast 5, where I ask 5 questions and my guest answers with the first thing that comes into their head. That's usually, I designed it originally as like a bit of an icebreaker to like loosen people up, to stop that like awkwardness, but I know you guys can talk on camera. So I don't know how this is going to work, but let's go. Dream car.
The car I've got, 79 series.
Oh, I don't know. I've been asked that a few times. Can't pick one.
A Lada Neva. Say something.
Yeah. Okay. I'd be keen on trying out the new Ford Super Duty.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'd be really excited about trying that out. But if dream car, probably like a big Ford F350 or something.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Have you seen those Lightnings, the F-150 Lightnings, the electric ones?
Yeah, I have seen them. Oh, that probably wouldn't be my dream car.
It wouldn't work
But-
in Cape York, I don't think. There's far too
Yeah.
much water up
surely
there.
not.
But it's cool.
Mine would be like a big GMC van, old school American van,
Yes,
like
sick.
fully pimped out. For
Bronco,
touring.
Yeah.
like a Bronco.
Like a
Bronco.
fr-
No, like a van one, like a
Yeah.
Vandura or a Chevy van, you know.
Like a
those
full
ones.
free candy.
I didn't
van.
see
Free
that
candy
coming.
van.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
not see that
I wouldn't
coming
say
at all.
free
And that's
candy.
what that was my first thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah, just free candy.
Yeah.
You know that, I can't remember the name of it, there was like a show in the early 90s, it was like American Unsolved Crimes or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And there
And
was
there's
that
plenty
real
of GMC
deadpan
vans.
dude,
Yeah.
and there was always like the white Bedford
Yeah.
van that was
Yeah.
always like the child predator.
Not one of those.
Yeah. What's the weirdest thing you've ever Googled, Baxter?
It'd be something to do with my line of work.
Yeah.
Some
okay.
medical condition or
Well, it's good to know that people that work in the medical profession still Google medical things,
it would
because all roads lead to cancer, right?
it would terrify you how
Yeah.
much that happens. No.
Mate, I don't want to say it, but there's only one thing I can think of, and we had a discussion about the actual shape and the reasoning behind the natural shape of a man's penis. Right?
That's pretty weird.
Yeah. Wow.
Nothing you want to admit.
Yeah. No. Oh man, the old remember when people used to say Google blue waffle?
No.
Oh, don't Google it at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or on a work computer.
Or it might not even be in the episode. You haven't heard that?
No.
I think at school it must have been something. They're like, oh, Google this. And you Google and go, wow, they didn't want to see that.
That was old rotten.com days, wasn't it?
Oh.
All that
It's
sort of
kind of
stuff.
like that sort of shit, yeah.
This is like, it's
Goatee?
different, but stick death and stuff like that. Did you guys get onto stick death and salad
Yeah, yeah.
fingers? And,
Yeah, salad fingers was twisted.
yeah, it was
mate.
weird, man. And the postman one and
Yeah.
all that, yeah.
I don't know. The
I've never
internet
seen
is
it.
so
I've never
different
seen them.
now,
Yeah,
like,
now-
compared to like rotten.com and what was the other one? It was just like death stuff. I
Yeah.
can't remember. There was heaps of real rogue stuff on the internet back
Yeah.
then.
They've really cleaned it up.
Yeah, now it's just like 24/7
Yeah.
death videos on Instagram.
Yeah.
Did you have Death Week on your Instagram a couple of weeks ago?
Nah.
No,
There was
no,
like some, I don't know if it was a glitch or if they just did it because like someone thought it was funny or they were like getting fired from Instagram, but Instagram just suddenly turned the search page into like just videos of people dying for a week. And it happened to heaps of people. Like,
It's pretty bad for business.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. It hasn't
maybe
seemed
Probably,
to
it's probably not
affect
going
it.
to stop them.
Nah, probably would have driven the algorithm pretty hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting real dark here.
Moving along.
Mark, what's your least favourite food?
Eggplant. I've come around to
Is
it
it
in the
because
last
of the
couple of years.
connotations of the eggplant emoji
No,
that
not
you
at
just
all.
don't want them in and around your mouth? Or?
No, nothing to do with that. But no, I never really liked them as a kid. Come around, I'll tolerate them now,
Yeah.
right?
But you wouldn't choose them.
Nah, it's not my favourite food.
Steve.
Onions, just hate them.
Onions.
Yeah, raw onion. Like if I just put it in the food, it just overpowers it. So if I just have a wrap and it has onion in it, the rest of the food may as
It's
well
ruined.
not be in there. That's
What about
me.
you?
Probably zucchini.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
zucchini.
I'm,
Similar to an eggplant.
Yeah,
really.
similar, I
I'm
suppose.
seeing a common trend here. You just don't like vegetables. eh?
Just those ones. Yeah.
All right. Best movie of all time.
Oh,
I love Forrest Gump.
Solid
Yeah.
choice.
Denzel Washington, Man on Fire, maybe one of
Yeah.
his. Something like
Denzel's a
that.
G.
He's the best.
Yeah. What about you?
What's that Tarantino one? The name's just
All of them.
escaped from me. Any one of those.
All
Yeah,
Tarantinos.
I'm with
Tarantino
you.
movie.
I just watched Inglourious Bastards again
Oh,
the
yeah.
other night.
Oh, yeah,
It's
cool.
a twisted movie, eh? Like,
Yeah.
they all are.
Yeah.
Even my wife, like, she loves horrendous horror movies, but
Yeah, right.
I just find them hilarious. And she
Yeah.
was watching Inglourious Bastards, and she's like, "This is really full on. Like,
Yeah,
this is
right.
making me feel a bit sick."
What's
I'm
the
like,
What's the one we were
Yeah, it's
watching?
like,
off
I
the
find that
thing?
kind of funny in a way. Like,
Yeah.
It's the
It's
famous,
Daintree.
most famous one. It's
What was it? Bear
we watched it at the Daintree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp,
Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Pulp
Yeah, yeah.
Fiction.
Oh, that's a cracker, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Just
I
timeless.
watched that for the first time ever, like 6 months ago.
Really?
I just never seen it. I just couldn't get through the start for some reason.
Yeah.
But then once I just sat down one day and committed, I'm like, that's so good.
He's a genius, that bloke.
Yeah, really good.
Like, unbelievable.
Kill Bill's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Kill Bill, yeah, just like ultra violent, extreme blood
Action,
explosions, and
Yeah.
but then also I think for Tarantino, like it's obviously like really gory and full on and like a bit twisted, and there's like I won't say that word because I'll get cancelled, but there's always really good stories.
There's a story
so it's
in
like
it.
really
Yeah,
clever
there's a story.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool twist.
Yeah.
What would you eat for your last meal?
Something Mexican like
Yeah, that's been a common
like a
answer
chili,
on this
chili
on
con
the
carne
show.
or something, you know.
I'm down.
Does it have to be a food?
No. It is a family show.
Last meal, give me like just a really good steak, like the best steak you can give me.
Solid.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah, I'm big tacos.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always Mexican on this.
Yeah. I think
So-
it's got a bit of everything, right?
Yeah.
Cheese, lettuce, meat, crunch, sour cream. Oh,
Yeah,
bit of a
you'd have to
mix.
go like heaps of chili, right? Because if it's your last
Yeah,
meal,
you're not
you
gonna
don't
pay
really
for
need
it.
to worry about the consequences.
you could do that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or you just make it a buffet and just eat for a long time, very slowly.
Yeah, buffet. Yeah. That would be the
Just to delay
smartest.
the ending,
That would be the
you know?
smartest
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know this kind of that
are you done yet? Just one more chip.
That question came from like I always get this wrong. I think it's like a book that a dude did on death row inmates' last meal requests.
Oh, yeah,
Because in the US, in some states, when an inmate is going to be put to death, they give them like a last meal.
Yeah.
And they can order anything. And some of them order like 3 crayfish, like ribeye steaks, a bottle of red, like all this stuff. And then others are like 1 piece of white bread and a KFC chicken drumstick. And I'm like,
Yeah. They're the serial killers.
yeah, they're the proper psychopaths. So,
Yeah.
anyway, now that we've got that all out of the way, what is the best trip that you guys collectively have done together? And now you may all have different opinions on that, but is there one trip that you've done that stands out?
Well, the last one we did, the last one that's like up on YouTube now, just didn't have Baxter, so it was pretty good. No, honestly, that was a great trip. It was the last trip.
Called for, eh?
God,
The
yummy.
last trip we did last year, where we did the basically the Cape,
Yeah.
and it was 12 months ago. It was getting released. It was probably the best trip we've done.
Yeah.
I reckon.
That was flight
Yeah.
number 2.
Float number
and,
2,
Yeah.
Teletrack and
tally track.
What was it, Frenchman's or something?
No, we did tally track. We did a float. We went up to the tip.
Let's start with
we
French.
did, out to Moody Head. We went to Runga Point.
Runga Point. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I agree, that one.
Yeah, that was probably the best one we've done. The trip we just did was only a shorter trip. Probably the best tracks I've ever done.
Yeah.
In Vic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big country, yeah.
It is unbelievable down there. I've like scratched the surface. We've done like 2 tracks down there. We did it on a
Yeah.
transit back from SA, but like,
We did 2 tracks down there as well.
Yeah.
man, I've
Yeah.
got some mates down in Victoria that have lived real close to the high country, and they're like, you could never do them all.
Yeah.
Even if you
Yeah.
lived here, you could never do them all.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal down there, eh?
From
Yeah.
the top
Yeah,
of the
crazy.
hills, you look out and they're just
It's just
tracks.
endless. Eh?
Every hill has a track.
Yeah.
You know.
And that'd be
Yeah.
quite different to what you guys are used to, like in terms of terrain.
Yeah.
Oh,
big
I
time.
think proximity of tracks and being able to do different things. Like up the Cape, you drive like 8 hours from Cairns to get to the Frenchman's track or something, or 10 hours nearly. And then it's like old teletracks all the way over there. And like they're also spread out. So
A lot
much-
more
it's
remote.
So much
They're
traveling.
a lot more remote.
Yeah,
too.
so much more traveling. Whereas
High
there
country's
it's like
condensed. Eh?
you can do this, and the next day you do that track, and next day this track. Every track's as good as the last track. Like, just that about it. Whereas we're used to being like, righto, today we're going to go to this spot. We drive for 6 hours
Yeah.
to get to the next location.
It's a destination, not just a little track on the side. But
Yeah.
but we had this question yesterday. Like we asked each other, And we basically said that the tracks down there, probably some of the best tracks we've ever done, right? But we'd still pick Cape York because the destinations and the creeks you stay in and all that,
fishing.
probably better, and the more remoteness of it, and the fishing is probably better for us. But the tracks down there are phenomenal.
Yeah, there's some rude stuff down there.
Yeah.
Super steep.
Yeah, we
super
sort of-
committing,
We
like-
got
I think we went pretty easy, really.
22 degrees, I think, was like the steepest we found.
Yeah.
That's if the sort of
The gauge.
inclinometer
Good word. I like it. Good for you.
that picked the angle, if that's correct, like 22 degrees feels like you're doing about
45.
60.
Yeah, yeah. There's some really rude stuff down there. We did the Blue Rag Range trig, and I did it with my wife. It was 7 months pregnant, and
How did she go?
she was fine.
Yeah, cool.
But the last little pinch is pretty shaly and pretty
Yeah.
steep.
Yeah.
But you talk to the Victorians, and they're like, that track's nothing. That's easy. I'm like, you can quite easily roll your car 400 times off that track
100%.
and
Very
die.
easily.
And they just think it's nothing. And I'm like,
There's
my
a car-
wife was like,
yeah.
"Oi, this is a bit full on, hey."
Yeah.
3 days before, or 5 days before we did the Blue Rag,
Yeah.
car just rolled over.
Yeah, they got pretty badly hurt, I think.
Did they really?
Is that
Yeah,
right?
they were the ones that got airlifted out.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
got
really?
out, they shut the track and stuff.
You know that deep V, like the first down and steep
Yeah.
up? They were sort of heading out on that first down, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they must have just you could just stall the car and have no brakes, cross up the steering wheel, you're sideways, and you're cactus.
Well, we were coming down that where it's
Yeah.
a bit rocky and a few
Yeah.
steps, and my car popped out of first gear.
Yeah.
And it just I wasn't
going.
expecting that to
Yeah.
happen. It started running away on me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, But
yeah, it could be something as simple as that, don't
and I think the thing about Vic High Country that I got from just the quick little time we spent there is if something goes wrong there, it's the
it's
consequences
proper
are
wrong.
very severe. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's so high up, right?
Yeah.
But how's that track?
Amazing.
Oh,
That's a good track.
incredible.
Did you do Billy's as well?
Nah, we did
Yeah.
because we drove from on the way back from SA. We went to Melbourne, saw a mate, and then we just went to the Dargo pub because I really wanted to go there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't let down. Sick
Yeah.
little pub, and then we did Blue Rag on the way out, and then just a couple of little ones. I don't remember the names
Yeah.
on the way out.
Yeah.
So you were down there fishing though. You were saying to me this morning there was a bit of fly
We did,
fishing.
we did try it.
We did 4 days basically on the tracks.
Yeah.
And one day, we're in Victoria, we're in the high country, we're creating content, we do some fishing, we're going to do some fishing. Okay, but, when in Rome, so we contacted a couple of fly fishing guides.
Yeah.
We've never touched a fly rod, and we went out and did a drift.
It shows.
Hilarity ensues, right?
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, it was pretty. It was a good day.
We
It was
broke
a great
a rod.
day. Yeah, we broke one of the fly rods.
And I feel like they'd be expensive.
yeah,
I think one, they said
More
was
than likely.
$1,000 or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember
as soon as
Skinny's
you
one was
say
$1,000.
fly in front of fishing, it
it's
makes
just money.
it
It's just
infinitely
money.
more expensive,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
we had a great day though. So,
yeah, it was,
yeah,
yeah. Look, it's unscripted, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, man, I've said to you boys this morning, I've never touched a fly rod for a reason because I struggle
Yeah.
enough to catch fish. So
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, it looks really hard, so hard. You're looking at it like, how do you even do that? It's not that hard, right? But then when you start doing it, you're like, oh, this is a lot harder than I thought. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Like you can get the basics easily,
it's hard.
but
to
then you
perfect
watch
it.
them
It's hard
just
to be
like,
good at
To
it.
do it
oh,
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Doing it and doing it well. It's
So
two
did you
different
catch any
things.
fish? That's the main question.
We
You'll have to
didn't.
watch, but there was a
Ooh.
fish was
But
caught.
the fish was caught.
A fish was caught.
At
I
least
like
a fish.
it. So are you going to start fly fishing back up north?
Well,
We think we're going to take one, yeah.
We might take one. Yeah.
long story short, no.
Yeah, we might know.
But we might buy a fly rod
Yeah, okay.
just to mix it up a little bit. It's not going to become anything major in our show.
No.
You just turn into a dedicated fly fishing channel. You're all wearing
Yeah.
Sims waders,
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
tweed coats, and
We'll see how this age.
you
If
sell
that
all
age
your cars
goes.
by Land Rovers. And I'm just
Yeah.
assuming
Yeah.
that's what
Grenadiers
fly fishing
now
is.
in Victoria.
Grenadiers,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
And there were more Grenadiers than 79 series.
Really? All
Yeah, it
the
was a
fly
lot.
fishers in them.
Probably.
Probably,
We didn't
yeah.
check inside them.
That checks out. That feels like the modern man's Land Rover.
Yeah, I think so,
Does.
I'm making heaps of just assumptions about the fly fishing community here. I just
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
they all have Land
yeah.
Rovers.
Now that we're
Yeah.
part of it, we can confirm you're right.
They've all got the Yeti the Yeti cooler, like roll-up bag too.
And the,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the,
That's the-
the,
oh,
and the-
or the
Yeti
Yeti
bags
backpack.
or the backpacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Untuck your net in behind your backpack.
Yeah,
in the
that's
back.
right, yeah.
We're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you sound like you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Be hard to use the waders around Cape York though. Probably
Yeah, I don't know if you'd want to be
don't
like.
wade too
But
much.
you know the
Waist
thing is,
deep.
they half the reason they do it is to not get wet and to stay warm. Up there, we just do it in like, footy shorts or something because you don't care about the water or
It's
the
not
cold.
cold. Yeah.
It's only the crocodiles you're worried about.
So, I haven't spent much time up north. Like I've been to Cairns and whatever. But how prevalent are crocodiles up there? Like, is it every bit of water potentially has a croc in it?
You
is
should
it like-
assume so.
Yeah.
Is that? Is
You
it that
should
like
assume
that?
so.
Yeah.
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 I sound like I know nothing and I don't. So
I grew up
Well,
in
most
Cairns,
people don't. Yeah.
and all the creeks we used to swim in up till I was 20, which is like 15, maybe a little bit more. years ago. We don't swim in anymore. I wouldn't take my kids to swim in those creeks in around the city.
Yeah.
Right, like just outside the city.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't put my kids in those creeks.
is that because the distribution of them is changing?
Population's exploding. They're really good predators. They're apex predators. They're good at repopulating. The numbers have hit a point where they're finding new ground. I'm not saying they've never been there before, but they're getting back
hunting
into these
stopped.
spots. They're getting back into these spots. They're survivors.
Because we used to
Yeah.
shoot them, right? Didn't they get like
Yeah.
hunted
Brink
pretty
of
hard?
distinction. So.
Yeah.
They've also got
extinction.
advantages now of like cattle on farming properties and stuff. Feral pigs,
Big feed.
buffalo, all sorts of stuff that wasn't around as
So
well.
they're well fed.
Yeah, they're well fed. Yep.
I remember when I first moved to Cairns, I was there for like a week, and there was a story on the local news or in the local paper. There was a policeman using a big broom to sweep a crocodile back into the gutter right near the bus stop that he was at. It was mental. Do you remember that? Remember that story?
Not really. After big floods and stuff, they turn up in people's swimming
It was
pools.
just on Mulgrave
yeah,
Road.
right.
Yeah.
Because when I was in Cairns quite a few years ago, like I was just throwing lures around in like those, I don't know, like canal sort of
Yeah.
things outside of town, and like every single body of water had a Achtung, like German, Korean, Chinese sign saying there's probably crocodiles in here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my daughter's getting involved. And I said to one of the boys in like one of the local tackle shops, I was like, "Oh, is this just a G up? Like, there's signs about crocs everywhere." He's like, "Oh, just go down there at night and shine a torch down it, and you'll know if they're in
Find
there or
out.
not."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you just work on the assumption that there will be a crocodile.
Where was crocodiles? Steve's got a little jingle he does about being
I
crocodiles.
couldn't remember it.
Oh, okay. He won't do it then. But look, long story short, we jump in the river in our episodes. Man, by the time we're coming down there, and people are like, oh, we don't see a croc in your episodes. Like, you're saying it's croc infested. By the time we're coming down the creek with 3 or 4 or 5 guys,
Carrying on.
2 tinnies, flicking lures, banging on the bottom of the tinny, not intentionally, just moving around.
Yeah, you make
Mate, that
noise.
croc that's 200 metres away with just its eyes above the water, it's already hidden somewhere and is just watching us.
Yeah, just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there.
Correct.
Right?
They can
Yeah.
see you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like the bull shark thing. So like where I'm from, New South Wales, like obviously we don't have crocodiles, but the bull shark thing's so funny when people who aren't fishers or whatever hear that there's bull sharks in Sydney Harbour and they wig out. It's like, it's full of bull sharks. What do you mean? It's like, just you can't see them. Doesn't mean they're
Most
not there.
city
Yeah.
rivers have bull sharks in them.
Yeah. Well, we're in Brizzy now and like...
Bull sharks in this river.
Pull
Yeah.
good ones out of that river frequently,
Yeah.
right? And all the canals on the Gold Coast have seen some crackers come out
Yeah,
of there.
righto.
Should we have another
Yeah,
minute?
you need a refresh. Go for it, boys.
Thank you. Anyone else up?
Cheers, mate. Yeah.
Did you want one, Tony?
Yeah, I'll have another one of these. I've got to
you.
pace myself though.
Cheers,
I don't
mate.
want to get too carried away on these 0.5% alcohol.
Are they 0.5s?
Do you reckon, like, if you drank enough 0.5% alcohol beers, you could get a buzz on?
Didn't
Or would
Hamish
you
and
just die
Andy
of-
try to
You'd
do
probably
that?
just
would you
piss yourself to
die
death.
of, you die of bloat?
Yeah.
I think
Hamish
Hamish and
and
Andy
Andy
actually tried to do that.
Oh,
When
well,
they were in some...
Hopefully I can
Under
channel
the
some of their
the
podcast success because
Tasmanian-
I think they make heaps of cash on their podcast.
Yeah, righto.
I think they're like the #1 podcast in Australia.
Yeah, they're also
I think that's what...
I've never listened to them, mate. Yeah, I know. I just thought I'd let that one go. Say something. What?
You can edit that out as
I'll
well.
retire. Nah, this is the thing. Like, I've had a few like viewers go, "Oh, like your editing process," and I'm like, "There's almost no editing in these episodes."
Yeah.
I've only recently had to edit out one particular section where someone was talking about national parks and they mentioned like a scenario that would have made it really obvious who he was talking about and the guy would have lost his job. So I cut that out.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. If we mention anything today that's going to make us lose our jobs or potentially income or anything, you should probably cut it out.
No, I'm aiming by the end of this that you guys get cancelled. That's
Yeah.
the driving force behind this particular episode.
This is the torpedo.
Oh yeah, he's funneling
We had
sponsorship money from True North to the Outside podcast.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
As
The
marketing
ultimate employee.
manager for GME, I think there's a slight conflict of interest if GME starts sponsoring the Outside podcast.
I disagree. You just say your boss, he's a pretty good bloke and he's
Yeah,
pretty
he does
good. He does a
alright.
good job.
Yeah.
And
So I'll submit the new supplier form to myself, approve it, and then submit an invoice to myself and approve it. That's fine.
the
right?
process shouldn't
Yep.
take long, to be
Yeah.
honest.
You just have to wear glasses.
Imagine trying to explain that to an auditor.
Yeah.
Like, hear me out.
Yeah.
Although, like, I wouldn't mind chopping my 80 and putting a Norwood canopy on it.
That'd be all right.
That'd be pretty cool. So yeah, maybe I should try and steal your sponsors, Isaac,
Maybe.
for watching. Expect a call. I guess for me, like when I first discovered you guys, it was actually through Cowboy Tune.
oh yeah, right.
So
on.
Cowboy Tune is a good mate of mine, and he and I do a lot of fishing together. And well, when I say that, we participate in the
Flick lines around.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
pretend that we're fishing. I catch the fish. He tries. He's a bit of a hack, but he actually sent me a video of you guys, and it was like, I'll get this wrong, but it was like 3 or 4 days in a boat.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah, Wenlock float.
first time we did the Wenlock float.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
He,
he's like, "Oi, I don't know if you've heard of these guys, but like, check this out." And I watched that and went, "Yeah, okay, this is good." And
Yeah.
for me, it was because that you see like the mega dollar boats, and you see all the gear and all the sponsors, and it was just like really authentic. It just
Yeah.
seemed like something that looked like a bunch of fun.
Yeah.
And it was, can confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very,
you've done
very
a few of those now.
We've done 3 floats now. We've got this goal, and there's a river up there, the Wenlock River. We started on it. We didn't know, we couldn't find anything online about it. YouTube, we didn't know people had done it before. We knew you could roughly put in here. In the 80s, they did a lot of canoeing trips down there and hunting from the river onto the banks.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so we just Googled and we're plotting how far it would be and zooming right in and say, well, maybe we could... Basically just the big R&D sort of exercise to get to that point of actually going up there and doing it. We had no idea what to expect.
As
right?
much as you can learn from a satellite map
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
There's so many features you don't get to learn about.
People had done
Find
this...
out about at
And
the
it
time.
would change because you get big wets up there.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it changes.
every season, yeah.
And plenty of people had done the section below it, but the section we were looking at was just really undocumented online. So we did that, awesome trip. Next year we did the next 40 Ks down. Then just this year we did another 50 Ks below that. We're probably about 100 Ks off finishing the river from start to finish.
That's wild.
So that'll
That's
happen
cool.
in the next few years,
Yep.
as well as maybe a few other like rivers up Cape York. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
just the tinnies, electric motors, batteries, everything we had on that boat probably cost about like $3,000.
So it's pretty
Yeah,
accessible
yeah,
for the
yeah.
average person.
Yeah.
Yeah, super.
Very
Yeah, yeah.
achievable.
We spoke to 3 people today who were at the Brizzy show. Yeah, and the most we spoke about is the float,
Yeah.
and 3 of those people are like 2 of them were doing it and 1 of them's done it.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, and I was like, man, that's cool. That guy's like, I saw you guys do it. I've been wanting to do it for heaps of years and blah blah blah, and I'm doing it in July. I was like, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Influential, mate. Does that make
Yeah.
you influencers?
Influenza.
Influencers? I think it does.
maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, if we can influence people to go out and do more of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's
And all jokes aside, that's the sort of stuff that we should be influencing people to do,
Correct,
right?
yeah.
Go out and like go on
Go
mad
outside.
adventures and not be
Yeah.
like, oh, well, if you don't have a $200,000 car, you can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
Correct,
as
yeah.
you said, the accessibility of it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
Would you ever do anything in a canoe up there, or is it a bit red hot?
wouldn't-
Stay away from the canoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, we take a small tinny down these rivers, and we're pretty, like, on camera, we're having good times and all that, but the last thing any of us want is for any of us to have any incidences, right? So we're really croc-wise, but I would also advise people, don't go in anything that you're not comfortable in, and you don't be comfortable in a canoe, because that's stupid,
Yeah.
yeah? Like, get
Yeah.
it,
I feel like a canoe's heaps more
like,
tippy than a...
start at,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
minimum,
I've done heaps of kayak
yeah.
fishing, and like, I've tipped them over heaps of times.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah. Yeah,
Something
when we do those
stable.
floats, like, probably doesn't, maybe gets shown a little bit in the episodes, but how much we look out for each other. Like,
Yeah.
if someone's got their back to the water,
and because it's so you can mess up and just forget about it, right?
Yeah, we're
And
constantly
you'll be
reminding.
like, "Wait, Baxter, watch that hole behind you," because there might just be this little dark spot that slips away. He hasn't seen it. He's looking out for me behind me, and
yeah, hey,
it's like,
just step forward 3 meters.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So there's a lot of that. Like it's like seriously dangerous.
Yeah.
But it's manageable.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
everything, right? Like with the outdoors, the more adventurous it is, there's an element of risk. You just got to
sure.
manage it.
Yeah.
But I suppose the more you do it as well, it's easy to fall into
Complacent.
the
That's it.
complacency trap,
you're doing
right?
it for 4 days.
Yeah.
I was just chatting to someone today about that with my full drive stuff. Like, you spend heaps of time full driving, doing recoveries, and you just become like really complacent. And then like a winch rope goes bang and zings past your head, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Hey, I saw
Ends
that
up wrapped
episode,
around
man,
your
of that
tail
thing
shaft and stuff.
oh yeah, where I nearly died.
far out, man.
Yeah.
It's scary, eh?
Yeah, and that was what we were talking about,
Yeah.
right? Like, and I had this like 17-year-old kid come up to me yesterday at the show, and he's like, "Mate, I knew as soon as you put that winch hook in your car, something was going to go wrong." And I was like, "Well, champion, we've done that about 100 times, and nothing's ever gone wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to do it again."
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. And like, man, I've driven into bog holes with a winch hook on my lap. I'm like,
Yeah.
that would have.
Yeah,
ended
I've done
badly.
it before. Yeah, because you throw it out to your mate.
Yeah, so he
I'm
doesn't
sure
get
thousands.
his feet
It's
wet.
happened millions of times, and no one's.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things. The more you do it, and I think like when you're filming as well, does that add another dynamic?
Well,
to
it just
'Cause
gives you
you're
something else to
concentrating?
think about.
You have to concentrate on that, not maybe the hole behind you.
Trying to get it done.
And this is probably, to be fair for us, because our footage is more raw and it's not always the perfect shot and we haven't done our makeup and all that, we probably aren't really actually that worried about the camera so much. In the moment, we're just doing stuff and we're hoping that that guy with the camera gets what he needs.
Yeah.
Right? And
But then you're also watching out for the cameraman, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
in the floats and stuff, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There was that recent episode where I think it's even in the episode, maybe it's next week's, and Liam, which is one of the camera guys, comes with us. He said, he's like, "Oh, I'll get out at this river crossing and film you." Yeah, and it's like a little weir about this deep, like not much water. And I said, "Oh man, there was a sign back there that said recent croc sighting. Maybe just don't get out." And he said, "Oh yeah, I'll stay in here." We drove across, and there was a croc just off the side of the weir.
Yeah, they didn't quite catch it on.
Yeah, man.
Didn't quite catch it on the footage.
Yeah.
But they saw it just leap off the bank and jump in.
They're quick, eh?
Yeah.
yeah, super
And it's
quick.
like, even that, it's like, he probably wasn't thinking about it because he was concentrating on the shot. I thought about it. I mean, that's, just gotta
And it
be
might have
careful.
been okay, but it might have also not been okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Imagine that
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All bad.
So, Baxter, you said you moved to Cairns. So, where are you from originally?
Brizzy, originally.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
And what about you boys? Were you Cairns born and bred?
I was born in Denmark and I grew up in Cairns.
Denmark overseas or Denmark WA?
Denmark overseas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And what about you, Steve?
Newcastle, pretty much.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I was in Canberra until I was 4 or 5.
Yeah, right.
Moved to Newcastle, and then moved to Cairns when I was 22 or something.
Yeah, right. So you guys all met up there.
All up there, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think you pretty much moved up about the same time, a year before or
1 year
something.
before, yeah.
Yeah, my wife worked with Danielle.
No, your
Danielle
wife.
is your wife.
Hang on, no, Danielle is your wife.
Yes.
Sorry, you have
Yes.
to remind me sometimes. At least I didn't say the other name.
That's a bit scary.
Yeah,
My wife Danielle worked with Baxter,
Yeah, right.
and then I worked with Mark as carpenters. I was apprentice carpenter. Mark was trying to teach me, didn't teach me much though.
Yeah, right.
Not much.
So for you guys, obviously you do a lot around like the rivers and all that sort of stuff. You done much offshore fishing up there? Because there's a whole offshore fishery up north as well, right?
Yeah,
There is, yeah.
a fair bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
Do you do much of that stuff?
we'll probably do more. Do we do much stuff? Only a little bit at the moment. That when we first met, when we first met, mate, I had a boat and we do blue water stuff all the time.
Yeah,
As
that's all
22-year-olds.
we did,
We
pretty
caught,
much,
we were catching like little 1.5 meter marlins out of my 4.5 meter trailer boat.
Sick.
Like it was cool, and I used to love it. We've just done so much more river stuff because we're going there. Once we leave Cairns and we're driving 12 hours minimum, normally it's with a little tinny. And then the other thing you find is once you go up north where we get most of our content, the big boat really, you don't go out 40 Ks or whatever.
You can't schedule the weather.
Nah, you
Every
can't-
time we
That's
schedule
probably
a
the thing you
trip,
can't
we're at the
schedule, yeah.
mercy of the weather. So
Yeah.
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
we
Mostly
tried
it
to
doesn't.
do a trip where we went from Portland Roads, Portland
Yeah.
Roads,
out to, what's the island off there?
Forbes Island.
Forbes Island. And it was going to be awesome. There's like awesome reef fishing out there.
Yeah. Stopped in at Restoration Island for one night to go 30 more Ks out.
Yep.
And we ended up just camping at Restoration Island for
like
three
three
nights.
nights.
Yeah.
It just blew like 35 knots.
Yeah, it's
and
unfishable in there,
Yeah.
right?
pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Couldn't get there safely.
Yeah.
So it's hard. So it's hard to say book in a videographer 5 months in advance, schedule time off, book it in our calendars, take the big boat, make a plan to go out 50 Ks, just to go up there and be at the mercy of the weather.
Get blown off the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably why we don't do as much as...
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
As we
We've
start
always got a
making-
bit of a backside plan that
Yeah.
if the weather's good, maybe we could do that. And it's just never panned out.
Yeah, and then you got to haul a big boat up there and hope. that
Yeah,
you
we'll
can
still haul that and do like bigger river systems.
Yeah, okay.
It's still awesome fishing for Barra and it's a lot safer, and we've got
Yeah.
like 3 blokes and a
Yeah.
camera guy in there, so it's heaps of space. So it's good for that. And we did
Yeah.
our trip down the coast. So we did from Seisha nearly all the way down to Mapoon. Just
Down
you
the
know,
west coast.
down the west coast of the Cape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over 5 days. So we've been like a little bit of that stuff.
Yeah. Looking to the future though, if we put more effort, or if we've got more time to spend on True North Adventures, we can pick weather days or
can
weather
jag
windows,
weather
and we
windows,
can
yeah.
go out to the reef. And we love blue water fishing.
So there you go. If you want to see more of that, buy the merch.
There you
Support
go.
the boys.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks,
There you
mate. Ta.
TrueNorthAdventures.com.au.
Yeah, marketing, baby. So you mentioned the West Coast Cape. Now I've never been up there.
Yeah.
I'll probably be up there this year at some point, but not the West Coast. Is it even more remote on the west? Like, are there towns over there, or is
Nah,
it like, what's the sort of get up?
Once you get past Cooktown, there's like there's
mate.
Lockhart River on the east coast, and that's it.
On the east coast.
On the west coast, it's like Pomperaw, Mapoon,
Kowanyama.
Weeper, Kowanyama. So it's probably
Hurricane.
more populated on the
Yeah.
west coast.
Yeah, right.
Mostly indigenous communities up through there.
Yeah, okay.
They're all heaps remote though.
There's a big
Yeah.
Weeper's a big mining town.
Yeah.
There's more population on the west coast, but the whole thing's remote unless
Yeah.
you go into those towns.
Yeah, right.
Probably the reason like we picked the west coast for that trip is the east coast just gets smashed by trade winds from
Like almost now through to like October next year.
Oh, really?
yeah. So
Yeah,
it'll
okay.
just be blowing 20, 15 or 20, 30 knots for 9 months.
October next year is a big call. Maybe October this year.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's some foresight. I don't know. Oh, wow. Steve,
Yeah.
Were
Livia.
were you one of the weather forecasters predicting the end of days here in Brisbane last
Yeah,
week?
maybe, yeah. Standard cyclone.
It was really hard as a North,
Category
it was,
5,
it was
Category
hard as a
3,
North
Category
Queenslander
2. Yeah.
to watch the media hype over it.
Yeah.
It was really hard.
That went
Because you
hard.
guys are like, whatever.
Yeah, well,
just a regular
Cyclone.
day.
Oh, Category 1 Cyclone, better hit Dan Murphy's, right? Because power might be out for a couple of days and, you know, like nothing serious is going to happen. I'm not saying nothing serious happened,
Yeah.
but we get it every other year,
Yeah.
you know? And, yeah, there was so much media hype. I
Yeah.
suppose we get a bit of coverage up North Queensland after the event,
Yeah.
but, mate, the Facebook was just all over it leading up to it for like
Yeah.
a week.
I reckon, I mean, yeah, anyone listening that has had any sort of like
Yeah.
misfortune and their houses are flooded, we're not diminishing that, but
Yeah.
like, I felt like it was just a slow news week because the amount of media coverage
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
quite insane.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
That
As-
Higgin
as
storm
build-
chasing
as
page, I reckon,
builders.
probably added some new subscribers. That
Oh,
was all that was
yeah.
in
Just a
my
handful.
Facebook feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny though, as builders, right, we're still getting calls for people who want quotes because they've just received insurance payouts in Cairns from December 2023's floods,
Yeah.
right? So it's just so slow going from up there.
Yeah.
So
And there were
hopefully
there were
no
people
one
in
around
towns up
Brisbane.
there that couldn't get out of the area for like 3 weeks or something. Like they were locked into areas. The roads are still not fixed. Like the Port Douglas Range, you've been up to Port Douglas before?
Yeah.
There's still 1 lane sections along there because the road's stuffed. And it's like, 14 months later.
Crazy.
And
Yeah.
they haven't fixed any of it. And then, it's tough looking at it happening down here and going, man, that happened to us and like nothing's happened.
Well, I thought it was.
Even though bringing the army in,
Yeah.
like getting it ready, we never got the army.
Yeah.
All our roads were washed away. Like
Yeah, and I
it
guess
was a little bit, not diminishing, but it was a little bit frustrating to watch how much effort they put into Brisbane, and North Queensland doesn't get that.
Admittedly, the population is a lot bigger.
100%, I agree. Yeah,
And there's more politicians that live in Brisbane than Oh,
And there's more boaters.
Yeah.
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 And there's less
Yeah,
crocodiles.
Don't get
Yeah,
political,
heaps
but
less crocodiles.
Yeah.
It was funny because I got into Brizzy a few days ago, and I went to Coles to buy like bottled water for the boys on the stand at the 4-wheel drive show. And I went into Coles and there was no bottled water. Like the whole
Of course not.
aisle was empty, and I was like, "That's weird." I'm in New Farm. Like,
Yeah.
do they drink a lot of bottled water in New
Yeah.
Farm? And then
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, maybe it was Cyclone prepping."
yeah.
There's no
No, they-
toilet paper either.
Oh. What is that's like the COVID thing, eh?
Yeah,
Like, everyone
it's
just went,
hilarious.
"Oh, we need to buy heaps of Mexican
I don't know.
instant taco kits
Yeah,
and toilet
and toilet
paper."
I
paper.
need
Yeah.
toilet paper because
There's
I
a
don't,
chilling
understand,
insight
I don't
into
understand the toilet
society.
paper thing because you could just use the shower potentially.
I don't think
Like it is not the most important thing you could get. Like there are many more important things.
Yeah, that was so wild, eh? Like
Yeah.
people just stocking up on toilet paper. Surely they'd like still be getting through it.
Wasn't
Because
that-
because
Yeah,
of
yeah,
a
or some
pandemic
people-
or a flood or a
Yeah.
cyclone, like I don't think you shit more or less than
Yeah.
Normal. Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe you just at home or you eat more.
Yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting societal observation though.
It was.
like
It's just
Mexican taco kits, pasta sauce, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
you couldn't buy like frozen vegetables.
It's like the media blow up though, because once there was a shortage in one place, everyone else went mental because they're like, "Whoa, we
Yeah.
might get that same shortage."
yeah.
It
Yeah.
just made it worse and it snowballed.
Yeah, yeah.
And is it
it is
because
hype.
North Queenslanders are generalising massively here, but like a bit more laid back, and because you're used to like adverse weather, you guys are just like, yeah, it's category 1, whatever.
I think
When-
they had something like 200 mil yesterday.
Yeah.
And so it's just like whatever.
Yeah,
was-
ra-
that was
rain's pretty
Thursday.
standard. Yeah. When I first moved to Cairns was
That was Friday.
well, maybe the year before Cyclone Yasi came through. Man, that was scary. I'd never been through a cyclone.
It was.
I'm predicting a 10-metre storm surge if it hit Cairns at high tide. And that was scary.
Yeah,
And we all hunkered down and stayed there.
yeah.
You know, and we went to the supermarket. And there was still food, and it was just reasonably normal. You know, I get how you can be scared the first time. After that's happened, and you're like, righto, you just need to do this and this, and be more prepared next
Be
time.
prepared. Be
Yeah.
prepared. Do what you can. Don't
Maybe
panic.
that's the thing. People in Brisbane are just not prepared. Most people in Cairns would have a cyclone kit and some extra baked beans in the cupboard,
And your
ready
houses are
to
built
go.
different.
Slightly. Yeah. There's
Yeah,
a
But I live in
cyclone
Queensland
ratings.
like this.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, it's
So
like
really.
built like how many years ago?
Yeah, but even look at that. Like we can see the roof line up here. You see all the screws. Like there's cyclone ratings up in Cairns that aren't the same in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, okay.
there is
Yeah.
that element as well. Anyway,
Yeah, so
hopefully
but,
no more cyclones hit Brisbane.
yeah. Well, I don't know if a cyclone did technically hit Brisbane.
Hopefully Brisbane doesn't get any more drizzles of rain.
yeah, stiff freezes. I'm lucky I don't have many Queensland viewers. I
I hope not.
So on the weather thing, though, I find the weather really interesting up in North Queensland because, like, you don't have like summer and winter like we do down south, right? You have like hot and hotter. Is that fair?
Nah, I tell everyone we've definitely got winter. There's
Put a jumper on
there's
sometimes.
2 weeks of the year, man, where it's hard to get out of bed. Right? You try to you plan the night before where you're like, I'll put the jumper next to the bed so I can stay under the doonas and
So
get
what's
my
like
jumper on.
25 or something?
No, I wake up and it's like 17, 18, 16 maybe.
Chilly.
Yeah. But
Yeah, right.
Put on my winter thongs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got wool.
But in terms of what you guys do, like, so I mean, I don't know much about it, but wet season, are you still going out and doing these river adventures, or is it like you can't do it? Like,
we get most of our content in 6 months when it's drier.
yeah, true.
That's
Yeah.
the gist of it. Just because we have in the past done some stuff in when the wet season is, and you plan it a few months out, you go to do it, and it just rains and it's
Yeah.
miserable.
Horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably like in Cairns, more popular in the wet season would be reef fishing
Yeah,
because that's when the trade winds drop off.
Yeah,
we
the
sort
wind
of get
swings around.
wind swings around. We get some calm days.
Yeah, okay.
So generally, most people instead of camping probably be hitting the reef and going fishing. And then when it swings around the other way and it's blowing a gale, everyone sort of heads out camping.
That's pretty cool that you got the options though, right? Like
Yeah.
for the times of year. I suppose it's the same everywhere in Australia, right? Like,
There's
Yeah.
always options.
if you're a
Yeah.
fisher, you'll find something to chase no matter
Yeah.
what season
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, camping's pretty hard this time.
Yeah,
Very
we
hard.
get a 6-month
It's
window.
just uncomfortable.
Oh man, you could get like 400 mils of rain in a swag. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just nothing that is built copes with that.
No.
Like we've done it. You go away and you wake up in the morning. It's like a groove under your swag from where water was running.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not fun.
And your
eh?
swags
went
are
to
wet.
Gould
Everything's
Island.
wet.
Yeah, we
We went to
Gould-
Gould Island.
Yeah, we all
got
got saturated.
Hammered.
yeah.
Yeah. That's on YouTube.
It's just not worth doing.
It turns you off going
Yeah.
camping.
And you can pick your days. Like if it was a nice day and you go, hey, let's load up the car and go camping. Sweet. But if you're trying to plan a trip,
Yeah, and
like
do something a bit
long
extended.
weekend, like Australia Day long weekend or something, it could just piss down all weekend. So a lot of people just tend to not.
Yeah, right. And so, like, is there anyone else in that area up there doing something similar to what you guys do? Or is it,
Yeah,
man.
yes.
I feel like in the last 5 years, there's heaps have popped up. Like, Back to Basics is the big one.
Yeah,
they
of
came
course.
from the area up there. They're not necessarily there anymore. One of the blokes is a bit south of Cairns. There's big.
is that Az that's got the farm and all
Yeah.
that going on? That's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool. He's
Yeah,
doing
it's
some
pretty cool.
wild stuff.
Yeah,
up there.
some interesting things going on.
Cool
Yeah.
stuff. Like there's heaps. Reef Addicts
Yep.
is up there, and like a little bit different. They do a lot of reef stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of bikini stuff, and we've tried the bikini thing, but it doesn't quite.
Didn't
fit
get the
Steve.
views. Yeah. I don't know if YouTube would allow those thumbnails.
Probably not.
Nobody allows
No one
us.
needs
No.
to see that.
We've looked at the algorithm, and I'm going, Steve, you need to get in the bikini.
I don't know why it's all targeted at you there, Steve. I mean, maybe this is...
It's like, that's because I'd look the best in the bikini.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
Yeah.
So the Vic trip that you've just done, is that like a little bit of a sort of taster of what's to come? Are you going to be doing more around different parts of Australia? Or what was the motivation to head to Vic, of all places?
Opportunity,
We'd love to.
probably.
Yeah.
Is why we
Everything's
did
so
Vic.
far from the Cape. Like everyone in Victoria or Brisbane or wherever, South Australia, would say that the Cape York is hard to get to.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the rest of Australia for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
the same
Cape-
in reverse.
Yeah, Cape York, we can just drive up there and we're there in a day.
For us to go down to Victoria's, a mission.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't do as much content. We also love going to the Cape. We'd love to do more content. Yeah, it's just time and
having day jobs.
Yeah.
yeah.
So did you take your cars down to Vic, or did you just borrow stuff down
So
there?
the Vic High Country trip came up as an opportunity. I'm currently on a 8-month family trip, caravan, 3 kids, missus.
Yeah, I heard you
We-
spent like a couple of months in my home state and I didn't get a call.
I was hoping you wouldn't hear I was there for so long.
Yeah, no,
I
Steve gave me
planned
a
it.
detailed
I-
rundown of your
yeah.
itinerary, and
Yeah,
I took it
I-
as a personal
I was
affront.
like, I hope he only hears I'm just like flying straight past.
Yeah,
him.
no.
So yeah, no, we've taken about 8 months and zigzagged down the coast, blah blah blah, Tassie, all of that. We knew some dates where I was going to be back in Melbourne, and then we started putting together. Okay, well, if I'm in Melbourne and I've got my car there, it would make sense that we organise a trip to the Vic High Country. It's not often we have one of our cars down here. So we did that, Norwell got on board, thought it was a good idea, and they sort of lent us a car, which didn't go well for them the first time.
I was
they did
going to
that.
say, that's pretty
Yeah.
bold of them, because last time they lent you a car, it didn't go that good.
No, we
sort of-
drowned.
A little bit wet.
We flooded the whole interior. The carpet was really.
Lucky a next gen Ranger doesn't have much in the way of electronics in it.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
no sensors at all.
There's also,
No, and it beeps enough from
All the
factory.
time.
I imagine it would beep a lot more once it's full
Yeah.
of water.
Yeah,
Also,
no, I've
there's a
got-
common theme of them giving us cars without snorkels.
Oh,
Yeah.
also bold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
But no, it was great. So that was where it came up. Hello, Barry.
Barry's entered the chat.
Yeah. Hello, Barry. So yeah, that was it. The opportunity came up. I had my car there. Norwell said, it sounds great. They gave us a car. We had the 3 of us. We went and hit the high country. We had a mate from Mount Beauty come and join us.
Yeah, nice.
Adrian from One Stone Armwest.
I'm Wests. Barry, shut up.
No, they're just, so Adrian One Stone Armrests. He joined us. He's in the area. He's a bit of a local. Gave us a bit of an itinerary.
Yeah.
Helped us out heaps and made it all come together. And we had this awesome trip.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
So you would do more, but it's time and distance.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
If the opportunity came up, we'd do 100%. Our
Yeah,
bucket lists for Australia are like,
Yeah.
Pretty long. It's
Yeah.
a big place, Australia.
There's so much, eh? Like,
Yeah, crazy.
I've spoken to, like, I've got a mate that's done, like, on and off about 18 months lapping Australia, and he's like, I reckon we've seen, like, 10% of it. Like, there's just, it's endless, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can just keep going.
You could.
yeah.
You just got to find a way to monetize it. Steve, you're the businessman, like, think about it, just...
Bikini Steve.
Bikini stuff. yeah.
Nah, I don't think that's a sound business idea. One that'll, like, make money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That'll probably just end your YouTube channel. You're going to log in, you'll be like, YouTube channel doesn't seem to be there
Our
anymore.
demographic would definitely change.
Pivot.
Yes.
Time to pivot.
Something we were chatting about earlier today, which I think is worth a discussion, is the Postie bike
Oh yeah.
or Postie
yeah.
bikes.
Yeah, we have 3.
Yeah. So, what was the motivator for the Postie bike challenge?
Oh, how did they even come up?
Well, no, Baxter's big into biking.
That's right, yeah.
Steve used to do a fair bit on trials bikes.
Oh, true.
Oh, a bit of both.
The no seat bikes.
I did a bit of everything, like motocross trials,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I like quads as well.
And I had 0 experience, and I'm like, man, that sounds cool. But we didn't want to do the same thing as a lot of channels. And we're not the first to do Postie bikes.
I think it
People have
also
done
came back to being a bit achievable.
Yeah.
You can buy a Postie bike for $1,500.
Yeah, not like a $50,000 adventure bike.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did, and we literally did not own a Postie bike, and we went out and we bought, over the course of about 2 months as they came up, we went out and we bought 3 Postie bikes in North Queensland region, and then had to manage to get like the roadworthies. And there was some dodgy stuff going on. But,
We were pouring no smoke oil into one of
Into
them
one of
as the RW, the what do you call it, the roadworthy certificate guy was coming to the house because the other roadworthy guy had failed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he failed it, so we're like, quick, get some
Call
no
the
smoke
next guy,
oil,
yeah.
pour that in there, get the next guy.
Because I'm guessing like these are ex-postal vehicles, right? Or not?
Two of them
Yeah,
probably are.
mine isn't.
So they've
yeah.
done like 1,000,000 kilometres.
No, see what happened, right? When they phased them out, Australia Post, when they were running the CT110s, I believe this. Someone correct us in the comments or whatever you do. But the CT110 used by Australia Post, I think had a lifespan of 30,000 k's.
Oh, true.
And then it had to be taken out of. They couldn't be used in operation for Australia Post. So
just
there's
roll 'em
so
over.
many Postie bikes out there sitting on like 36,000 k's because they did their 32,000 with Australia Post. They've been sold privately,
Yeah.
or used privately, and they've only done a few thousand k's.
Yeah, right.
So mine's got like 36,000. I think the one we bought for Baxter's got like not much over, maybe like
Yeah.
42. And Stevie's is a old Dunger CT90.
Yeah. So
It's a
mine's like an
different
old.
story.
Mine's an old CT90 trail. So like a farmer would have bought it,
Yeah,
like
okay.
way back when.
And that was
Currently,
the smoky one?
No.
Baxter's was.
Oh,
what's
really?
it. Yeah. And back then apparently Honda weren't even importing them, so it would have been like someone importing it from the States as like a farm bike or something.
Private import CT90.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a different beast.
Yeah,
Like,
It's
a
got
fun
high
bike.
and low range in
Yeah.
that, eh?
Yeah,
It's a bit-
high and low
It's an
range
interesting
gearbox.
bike.
So cool, eh?
That's mad.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
for anyone
high's
that
not
hasn't
fast.
seen that, give us the rundown. What was the premise of that trip?
Go for it.
Oh, mate, just we all got our Postie bikes and thought we'll just hit a track that we thought would be achievable in the time frame we had available. So we picked Starkey track,
Yeah.
which was a dusty nightmare, but achievable on Postie bikes. We've done it.
It was
Yeah.
achievable.
So probably like Cape York motorcycle tours, like a lot of the motorcycle tours
Yeah.
groups, right? They go to Lions Den Hotel, get on the pier, stay the night. They wake up the next morning. I think they drive to Cooktown, and
Yeah.
they're like, you have an option, right? Choose your own adventure. Be a maniac, like this is on like a KTM, whatever,
Yeah.
and do the Starkey River track because it's really hard. Or take Battle Camp Road, the easy way around to Cowpow, and we'll meet together.
So you went the hard
So
way.
A and
We went
B
the hard
line,
way on
we went the
Postie
A
bikes.
line, Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
with,
we
like,
allowed a few
very-
days to get it done.
With minimal bike experience.
We don't go out.
He's not going
completely
fast.
You've got to be. You've got to be a little bit smart if you're going to do something stupid, right? So you've got to have Plan B and C and thing. And we were a little bit prepared. Like for example, I went and got my license a week before we went away, so I wasn't riding unlicensed. So like
Good prep.
I had about sort of 5 hours doing my license around a track, and that was really good experience.
Man, it was so brutal, eh?
Yeah.
Like I've still got a bad tennis elbow from it. I
Oh,
tore
really?
a tendon in my elbow.
I mean, the
Mark
bikes had
nearly
no
gave up on the
suspension.
first day. Like Baxter's bike, the suspension, just if you pick the bike up off the ground, the fork just falls.
The wheel
like,
just drops until it hits
there's no
the end.
there's
It
no
just goes
rebound. Is that what that is?
rebound.
No
yeah.
rebound. Like
There's no shock in the shock.
essentially,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no shock.
There's no absorption in
Yeah.
the shock absorber. Yeah.
And we learn all these things on the track, of course.
But what an adventure, right?
It was pretty cool. Yeah,
was fun.
Super
So how long were you out there for on those things?
3 days.
yeah.
3 long, brutal days.
Felt like 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And-
second 2 days weren't so bad. They
Not
were
as bad.
quite leisurely, really.
It was probably the best way to do it. That first day was just a killer, and it got the bulk of the hard stuff done.
Yeah.
The second 2 days were really enjoyable.
And you'd sort of
Yeah.
settled into it. You
Well,
then had a whole 13 hours
We'd
of
finished the
experience.
Starkey track,
That's it.
Oh.
number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
the rest,
bad.
The rest of it was less rock, incline, and bull dust, and it was quite a lot of sand, but a lot of flatter. We were doing faster speeds. I
Yeah.
suppose the second 2 days we were cruising more.
A little less grueling.
Yeah.
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 Just the sand at the beach when we finally got to the end. That was a bit fun for
Yeah.
Stevie anyway.
Yeah. And
Oh
so-
man, I
You had a real hard time.
was pretty angry actually. These guys just burn off in their powerful
We-
110s
Someone-
and leave the poor man with the 90cc back to like paddle through the sand. And I had the issue with the motor dying.
We had like 20% more power than you.
Oh, I was pretty angry.
But as a basis for the channel, that's what we're trying to achieve is not just do four-wheel drive tracks, not just go fishing down the Wenlock River, right? It's successful. We've done it every year, a 3 or 4 day trip. But throw in, a Postie bike trip, make a paddle wheel roast spinny thing.
Yeah.
Do a bit. Steve and I especially like making things, right? Often like impromptu.
Yep.
And
So also impromptu slash unplanned and unprepared.
well, we have the tools we need.
Baxter's not
Probably
here.
when you're the most creative, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there
Fun.
isn't a plan.
We had to. So the Vic High Country trip, after crashing the drone a few times, we crashed it 4 in the end. We kept flying it after each significant crash. After epoxying parts back together, we pulled it
The
apart.
first crash we picked it up and the camera was just hanging off the front.
By
So we had to
cord,
glue the gimbal arms back together.
Yeah, we
Oh, yeah,
created
good.
little braces to hold it in place while the epoxy. Then we had to pull the lid of it off, and
Well, the next crash the GPS failed.
yeah, the GPS was
Yeah.
completely disconnected.
Oh yeah, and it's like flashing the GPS acquisition failed thing.
GNS module not found.
Yeah, because
that
it
one.
like popped the ribbon cable
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it also broke
Broke
the ribbon cable a bit
Yeah, easy to fix. Just in
on the
high
top
country.
of the trig point.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah. Well, that's sick. And like, that's the stuff you remember, right? When things
Yeah,
go wrong
yeah.
and then you fix them.
Yeah. And this probably comes back to the whole point. And it's not like the destination there, the trig is like incredible. But man, that like you'd nearly talk more about how we
journey.
fixed this
The
drone
journey,
thing
yeah.
together and
Yeah.
how, things that happen along it, and it's the journey. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What's is there anything that you haven't done yet that you're like, you guys talk about and go, yeah, we've got to do that? Like, is there one? I don't want you to give away your trade secrets here, but is there a trip that you've talked about or something that you've sort of thrown around going, yeah, wouldn't it be good to do that?
Floating other rivers, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
got
we've
some
talked about
plans.
some other rivers. Yeah.
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 And like the access is a lot harder. Like the Wenlock, there's obviously like Frenchman's track on it, a station on it. You can kind of get to it all. A lot of the other rivers, you can't get to the head of the river.
Because,
Well, if you got access from a landowner, you probably could.
and is that like TO land or is it
Probably more
stations?
national park.
Oh, so yeah, I don't know about national parks up there. But
Yeah.
I've probably said enough about national parks
Yeah.
lately.
Yeah. But nah, so
It's
like,
becoming more difficult everywhere.
Is it?
yeah. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's probably the hardest part about the Cape access.
Yeah.
Like it's all either privately owned, which they just don't want you on there. Why would they?
Yep.
Or it's traditionally owned, same thing.
Yeah.
Or it's national parks and it's closed. Like that was probably one thing about Vic High Country. It is really accessible.
At the moment.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and
the
there's
Cape
a big
is like
fight going on
going
down there at the moment as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah, and we love the tracks down there. I can understand why you wouldn't want any of them to close.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and like the plan down there is to hand a huge chunk of it over to national parks and
Really?
create
Yeah.
the Great Forest National Park or
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
But that's what that means is no hunting, no motorbikes, no four-wheel drives,
Yeah.
no free camping,
Yeah.
no
Well, it's-
fires. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like one in like up the Cape, so Bramwell Station sold however many years ago. That's back with traditional owners. At the moment, the Roadhouse, it's all still open, right? But who knows if that'll stay open.
what was the one up there that closed down? Was it Lorella? that they
Lorella's
they
like
said it's
in
all
the
to-
NT at the
that's
bottom.
Lorella
right.
Springs
Oh,
is
is
in
it?
Yeah,
NT,
but I don't
yeah.
think that's changed hands. It was more insurance is expensive.
Yeah, okay.
I don't
Yeah.
think it changed hands, but it definitely shut because it was all too hard.
Yeah,
and there was a
that's it.
mine trying to get access through it as well.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So
just
it is
in
an
the-
issue up in the Cape though.
Yeah,
like-
and then Strathburn stations are sold, which I think's, I could be wrong, 300,000 acres, like massive, right?
impossible for me to comprehend with my small brain how
Correct,
big that
right? And
area is.
and it was a huge area for local Cooktown, Cairns, Weeper people to go hunting.
Yeah.
They allowed hunters on there to go shoot pigs. Essentially, that was
Yep.
the main thing. But also barramundi fishing, camping, everything. Now it's national park. There'll be no hunting, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
Maybe there'll be campgrounds, maybe there won't. So it's like another big chunk. It's like access is already hard, and it's only getting harder. And
Yeah.
it's such,
You know,
it's
one
such a
thing-
big area. Like it's as big as Victoria, right?
Yeah, it's
Right?
incomprehensibly
Pre-
large.
Pretty much,
yeah.
right? And you can drive down the PDR and down the telly track and down Frenchman's track, and that's about all the access you can get.
Really.
If it's not a gazetted road, you can't get access nearly.
One thing I'm pretty excited about, and it's a bit of a rumour that I've heard a couple of times,
Yeah.
is a spot that was probably closed, I'm going to pull a number out, about 2010, Ridley Point. They're looking at opening it back up.
True.
Don't quote me on the details, something about a ranger program, pushing a new track through to Verilia, which has been closed for like 25 years.
Yeah.
No, sorry, 15 years, right? I went out there before it closed. We've pulled up on the beach there. We got beached from the boat.
You made it sound like really planned. We pulled up on the beach.
Yeah.
We got
Beach.
washed up on the beach.
So it
And
was
we
not
allowed
planned.
enough time for the tide to go out, so we couldn't move. What basically it's a cracking spot, and I've heard that there's something in the works up there with a management program with rangers, blah blah blah, that they're looking at pushing another track out there, and
Yeah.
maybe some sort of access will be given out there in the future, whether that's a year, 2 years, don't know.
10 years.
It's a rumour that floats around North Queensland. That's something that really excites me.
Yeah, I
Getting
agree.
back
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a cool spot.
Hearing
yeah.
about a spot getting reopened.
And new tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, tourism's so huge for Cape York. Without tourism, I mean, some of those towns work, but Ponsan Bay campground doesn't work. They go broke. You know, Loyalty Beach campground goes broke. Like, there's so much money injected into that area from tourism.
Absolutely.
And,
there is.
and by creating more tracks and more access, we get more tourism. Like, to me, it makes sense.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And like anyone who's into four-wheel driving or adventure of any description in Australia, Cape York is on the list.
Yeah,
on the list,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
If not at the top, very
Yeah.
close to it.
And then when it becomes achievable for them, they do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that we face across Australia, right? Is that like, for whatever reason, areas get closed, whether it's Greens or political or traditional owner or whatever, but it's the impact on those towns
Yeah, for
of
sure.
the lack of tourism that's
Yeah.
maybe not immediately apparent.
Yep. Yeah, and not just tourism, the four-wheel drive industry. If
Oh.
people stop four-wheel driving, you know, GME sales go down, True North views go down. Like, it's a huge economy.
Well, look at the Brizzy four-wheel drive show we've been the last
Crazy,
couple
right?
of days.
Massive,
Like,
eh?
it's a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
it's a huge
And
industry.
if you closed every track, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, and then I wonder, like, well, then what do all those people do? Like, in terms of recreation?
Yeah.
Like,
Don't know.
they're not going to all just take up hiking, right?
No, not me.
Or
Unless I
bird
got to
watching.
fish. Unless I got fishing on my hand.
Steve's not he's
Nah.
not fond of hiking.
No.
Or bird watching.
Yeah.
He's a twitcher. He's a
No,
twitcher.
Baxter's the twitcher.
Twitches
Hey.
get stitches.
They just get in front of my eyes and I just see
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, the kids next door are pissing me off, quite frankly, with the noise in the background.
Hope these mics work well.
Yeah, no, we should be all right. They usually cut out the background noise. My daughter hasn't gone rank in there, which I was expecting. Barry's behaved himself, so all told, we've done pretty well.
Good chat. And
that's
we've
good.
run out of beers probably, so
Yes. Well, it's been really good catching up with you boys. I appreciate you
Likewise,
taking the
mate.
time. And so, if anyone that doesn't already follow you, what's the go? How do they find you?
Socials, you know, Instagram, Facebook, True North Adventures, and then YouTube, same thing, True North Adventures.
Too good.
Yep.
All right, boys. Well, thanks again,
No
Cheers,
worries.
mate.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
us.
having us.
and we will see all of you next time on the outer side.
cheers.
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 See you later.